Hey everybody, my name is Ryan Held and this is my GIS 512 project. I chose to do a land study of Springfield, Illinois and how to optimize the new Sangamon Valley Greenway. The Sangamon Valley Greenway is a refurbished set of train tracks that run from St. Louis, Missouri to Springfield, Illinois to Peoria, Illinois, and then ultimately Chicago. It's a small refurbished 13-mile strip along the western side of Springfield, Illinois, and it runs north to south and connects many parts of the towns as well as neighboring little villages. I thought it'd be a fun hypothetical situation to see if the city of Springfield, Illinois would create an entertainment center along the new bike path. And what I had in mind was like a food hall, a concert venue, and a brewery or something. I decided it had to be within 1 mile of the bike path on herbaceous land and near populous centers. So my two main data sources were the United States Census Bureau, in the form of vector data, where I got census blocks. And census blocks are areas that contain roughly around 3,000 people. It was free to all people to download the data. And then the LCO8 was a raster data set for Springfield, Illinois. And it was on a Landsat 8 satellite, contained 11 bands, and each pixel was about 30 meters by 30 meters. It was free to download to anyone if they had an account. Methods. So I used a lot of spatial measurement and computation. So I believed my methods heavily revolved around spatial analysis. Major processes include supervised classification, accuracy assessment points, confusion matrix, and central feature. So my flow chart, I originally obviously had to add the data first. I added my raster data and vector data. I then performed some physical changes of the raster data. I traced a line of the bike path, added a 1 mile buffer, and then clipped the raster to the extent of that buffer. I then created training samples for supervised classification, performed supervised classification until I was happy with the results, did accuracy assessment points to reclassify, did a confusion matrix to see if the computer and I agreed. I then selected by location the census blocks for the 1 mile buffer so I could just focus on those. And then I did a central feature tool which weighted the area of land to find that was a bigger area but also near populous centers. So this was my first map showing pretty much the first steps. You can see the 1 mile buffer around the trail and the supervised classification images around it. As I said before, I had to do this a few times because it's a lot of herbaceous land and it was confusing it for urban areas. On my left is the census blocks classified by size. So the smaller blocks are obviously lighter in color, and as they get bigger, they get darker. So you can see that it's the center one is near population centers, but also has a fair amount of land. And then the right is a zoomed in picture. And as you can see in the bottom right corners, there's plenty of land to develop on. Interpretation, I thought it was just a fun experiment for my hometown. It was fun, just hypothetical. I had a lot of a priori knowledge, so I knew if mistakes where they were and what they should be instead. But ultimately, the exact location is to be determined by the city of Springfield. But bigger takeaways, it was the growing role of GIS in urban planning, its importance, and just the overall great experience it was in this project. And thank you for the class, and I had a lot of fun taking it. Thank you.